Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and today I'm in the town of Aztec, which is just a short drive east of Farmington. And they have here all sorts of historical equipment inside the museum building here. And then back behind the museum is several old historical buildings. And I think they're pretty much just remnants from this small town. So let's go take a look at it. This says visit our past, and this guy says Aztec is where the desert meets the fertile land. I wonder how long he's been sitting there. First I'm going to show you some of the displays that they have inside the building. And this is a 1901 Victor talking machine. It's what they called it back then. And here's an old cash register. And there's a lock here. I bet you'd like to know what's inside there, wouldn't you? Oh, look at this. Absolutely nothing. It's a colorful piano. It says music heals, play some. And they have a really nice camera collection. I had one of these brownies that we also called a box camera when I was a kid. And those are very simple cameras. This is also called a brownie, which has the fold out. And we've advanced from these movie cameras to my little Sony camcorder. This is hard to see with the glares, but they have a pretty extensive rock collection here. Well, let's see what's in the barber shop. We got 1, 2, 3 barber chairs, a shoe shine stand, and if you need to take a bath, they provide that too. And this room has a really nice clock collection. All sorts of really old clocks when they needed to be that big. I think that's what we used to call a grandfather clock. I don't know why, except maybe a lot of grandfathers had them. Several types of typewriters here. And how would you ladies like to go shopping here? And don't forget to pick out a nice little hat for yourself. And who saves popular science magazines? From 1948. I think this may be the oldest washing machine I've ever seen. The ringer's there. And here is, I don't know if I've seen this before. This is a side saddle. And guess what this is, folks? What do you think that could be used for? It is a butter churn. Fortunately, I for one have never needed to churn any butter. And I think these wheels have served their time on the road. Well, now let's go to the back building. It has a model drilling rig. And I bet you have never read Tarzan magazine. Here's some various industrial machines. And in the 1970s, when I worked in an office, I thought Monroe made the best calculators.
Valente Zaharek, a World War II Army veteran and polio survivor, carved the Pecos West in the 1960s as a local Sedona, Arizona attraction. It took him more than 20 years to complete this beautiful cyclorama display. The cyclorama was purchased as part of a lot at an auction and subsequently donated to the Aztec Museum.
And on the back side, along the outside wall of the back building, is just all sorts of things. My aunt used to run a linotype like this for the Houston Post newspaper. Here's an iron stove, and this is one of those really old-style simplex movie theater projectors. I always thought simplex was a strange name for something so complicated. It's not simple at all, if that's what that's supposed to mean. This explains how it works. It actually had fire going in here. And back behind the museum is all these buildings that I'm going to check out. So this was the first jail in this town. It looks like a skinny person could actually fit through these bars. Next to the jail is the sheriff's office with the doctor's office on the rear. There's the sheriff's telephone, the saddle, and yes, the doctor is in. Well, you don't see many tinsmiths around anymore, and this is what they have. All sorts of equipment in here. And of course, they wouldn't be a history museum without a caboose. And let's take a look inside the blacksmith shop. Got all the typical blacksmith equipment here. Chainsaw. I didn't know that was used by blacksmiths. And in the next building, this is somebody's home. Pretty good sized bed there. They hang their chairs on the wall. This is the dining room. And this is the kitchen. And this is the sewing room. Now this building doesn't have a name on it. It is a two-seater. If you got a really wide butt, you sit there, I guess. Oh, and here's one for the toddler. So this is an outhouse for the whole family. Here's the Citizens Bank of Aztec, next door to a white church. I used to go to a church that had an attendance board like this, but we never got such low numbers. Next is the schoolhouse. One-room schoolhouse, very small. They got a heater there. It's where the teacher sits in front of the blackboard, and that's when blackboards were really black. Do they really need that sign? Here's a general store, Maxwell's, and he put up some surveillance equipment. Well, actually, that looks like solar panels pointing down to the ground. I don't think that's the way it's supposed to work. And here is an antique fire extinguisher. This is where you would come if you need a waffle maker or a toaster or just about anything for your house. A scale, a couple scales, and a 1902 gas lamp, bird cage, coffee and spices back here, cigars, and for wrapping up things for the scaling, we actually have some paper left over. And I bet you've never used a meat grinder like that. And here is the mail delivery bicycle. Here's the post office. Stamps are 10 cents. And for a $100 money order. Their fee is 22 cents. I think it's gone up now. This is an attorney's office. You know, I wonder who had the job of converting all of these pages to digital. Certainly a job I would not want. I've done enough of that myself already in my CPA office. Oh, it was a task. Well, you want to take a look at Merle's farmhouse? That must be Merle's wife and daughter. Not sure which is which. And there's another lady here. Hey, what's going on? Well, they do have a dining room set for 3. And back here is the kitchen. This is a fireless cooker. There's the sink and the stove. There's a refrigerator. Or is it an ice box? The refrigerators usually had the compressor on top there on the old models. This is the laundry room and the sewing room. And here's the children's room. And I guess these are the 2 or 3 children. That's from the Navajo Novelty Shop. Well, let's see what other things we've got back here. Nice lawn. That's the farmhouse. And they have room here for a lot more donations. If you have anything appropriate to donate to them, I think they would take it. There's a steamroller. Don't know what that is. And over here, that is a natural gas compressor. There's a sleigh. You can see the legs down there. A little racer. And if you're here at the right time, you just might get to see a show here. All I can tell is that it's going to involve music. There's a piano under there. And I assume they pull these out of the way when they put on a show. And here is another, guess what is it? What do you think, folks? It is a Fort Worth model de-sputter. I guess they don't have much need for these anymore. At least not made out of wood. Well, I think I've shown you just about everything. It's got a really good museum here. Good day, folks.